For Honor is an action fighting game developed and published by Ubisoft, released on February 14, 2017. Its initial mixed reviews mainly complained about technical hiccups, like lack of dedicated servers, matchmaking problems, lags or crashes. That originally led to a huge decrease of player base, especially on PC, but after another year in development, creators managed to fix most of its tech issues. They constantly add new content and events into multiplayer, and finally, at the beginning of 5th season, Age of Wolves, they added dedicated servers into the game. With the recent announcement of Marching Fire expansion that will add 4 new heroes and 2 game modes, along with constant promotion and care from Ubisoft, that includes things like free weekends or new starter edition, I thought it was time to take a deeper look at it and decide if For Honor was worth everyone's time. This video will be split into 4 parts. First, I will be answering a question in the title of this video, and then talk about gameplay, single player and multiplayer, with timestamps in the description. So let's begin. Let me start off by saying that For Honor is definitely not the game for everyone. It features mechanics that are easy to understand but hard to master, and newcomers will need to invest hours into every hero before taking on other players. If you think that you can just wing it and learn along the way, then you are in for a rude awakening, and even average players that at least went through some basic tutorials and played for a few hours will be better than you. Your first PvP matches are gonna suck, and you need to power through them and learn if you want to stand a chance. But don't worry, game has a pretty good tutorial area where you can learn about every hero and his moveset, watch videos, or you can go through apprentice and warrior trials that help you understand some basics, and I would definitely recommend them. Plus, you can play every mode against AI that is not as smart as normal players, but even bots can give you a hard time, and you can use them to test yourself out and see if you are ready for PvP. To be honest, as a newcomer I had a hard time getting used to new mechanics that are different from any other multiplayer games, and I got destroyed at the beginning. But after like 10 hours of playing and finding my favorite heroes, it got a lot easier. Another problem newcomers will face is matchmaking. It is indeed horrible, and you better pray before every match, or else matchmaking gods won't be merciful to you. In at least half of my matches, I was paired against players that have at least 3 more reputation than me, while on the other hand, my team was full of newbies like me. This can be handled somehow in Dominion, where you can play objective or go as a team, but if you play 1v1 or 2v2 duels, and you get paired up against someone that is class above you, it is nightmare. However, if you face players that are around your level, it is awesome, and that feeling of defeating someone in a tiebreaker after 5 tense duels is one that only For Honor can offer. So just like at launch, matchmaking is still not fixed, even though thanks to huge influx of new players, it's been getting better and better. Thanks to new dedicated servers, I never had any problems joining games, and I was never disconnected. Lag was basically non-existent, I didn't notice any bugs and never crashed. When it comes to player base, it usually took me around 30 seconds to get a match in Dominion, around 1 minute for duels, and if you want to play any other game mode, like elimination or tribute, you should prepare to wait a bit longer. But all those talks that For Honor is a dead game are definitely not true. You can find tons of active new players each match without any problems, at least on PC. And one more thing newcomers should know before jumping into For Honor is that there is no honor. People are gonna team up against you, teammates are gonna jump into your duels, and if things look bad, a lot of players simply run away to their safe zone. Only place where a little bit of honor is left is in duels, but even there it varies from player to player. But in Dominion, you either gank or get ganked. All in all, if you enjoy fighting games and you have enough time and patience to master heroes, then you're gonna enjoy it. Even if you don't, you can still play countless hours against bots and have fun, but one day you're gonna move on to PvP, and that's when unfair matchmaking and difference in skill crops up, so keep that in mind before you buy it. But if you are a loner and have no one to play with, you don't need to worry. For Honor is one of few team-based games where playing with friends is not required. There aren't any complex strategies or need for communication here, even in Dominion, most prominent team-based mode. You can play every game mode solo and have as much fun as someone with friends. When it comes to different versions, For Honor currently offers 3 of them: Starter, Standard and Gold Edition. First thing you should know is that in For Honor you get steel for completing matches, and you use that steel to unlock characters. If you have Gold version, it comes with Season Pass, which unlocks additional 6 characters for free and you're gonna have enough steel to unlock rest of base game heroes after finishing campaign and tutorials for 500 steel each. That way, you basically have no motivation to play other than maxing out your heroes or buying gear. If you go for starter edition, you only get first 3 heroes and 3 more that you can play with but not customize. Personally, I think that this edition is a bit restrictive, since if you don't like Vanguard heroes and you wanna try and customize other ones, you need to pay a lot of steel for them. I recommend standard edition that allows you to play as 12 heroes from base game and customize them for only 500 steel, but you don't have other DLC characters unlocked, and you can use that as a goal for playing and collecting steel. And finally, its price. I can't recommend For Honor for everyone, and it is really hard to tell if you're gonna like it or not, so I would personally invest maximum of 30 euros into it. Best way to get standard edition for cheap is to wait for sale, and lately For Honor has been on a lot of sales. If you really want to jump into it immediately, you can go for starter edition for 15 euros, but definitely don't buy gold one. Now that we have recommendations out of the way, let's take a look at gameplay. For Honor features unique battle system. You have 3 directions, left, right and up, where you can aim your weapon. If you are a defender, you need to quickly react or guess from which direction your enemy will attack and block it. If you attack, you need to fool enemies and damage their weak spots without defense. It is basically an advanced version of rock, paper, scissors. You can use light or heavy attacks that can be chained into combos that sometimes end in an unblockable attack that can be avoided by either rolling or dodging. You can also break your enemy's defense that will leave them stunned for a second, or parry their attack by pressing attack button at the right time during their strike. Every action except for blocking consumes stamina, and once you run out of it, your attacks and rolls will be slower, so only thing you can do is block and wait for it to regenerate. That way, you can't just attack aimlessly, you need to have a strategy and watch your enemies carefully. If you block enough attacks in a row, you can activate revenge mode that increases your attack and defense for a short amount of time, and it is great to use if you're outnumbered. In some modes, you can also use special items like smoke bombs or healing flag, unlocked by leveling up in each match. There are also some passive skills like ability to gain health by killing soldiers. You can also collect gear at the end of match that can be used to customize heroes, with each piece having different stats that can increase your attack, defense or revenge mode. You can also buy gear from chests that can be earned by playing or bought with microtransactions. Gear can give you an advantage over opponents in some multiplayer modes like Dominion, but thankfully it doesn't have any effect in duels. When it comes to heroes, each one has its own special moveset with different unblockables, abilities, combos and special attacks. There are 4 hero categories. You have Vanguard, an all-rounder that is good for starting players. Heavy, that can take and dish out huge amounts of damage, but he is very slow. An assassin, that is fast both when attacking or rolling, but he can't keep his stance for long or take a lot of damage. And finally, Hybrid, class that is combination of any 2 previous categories. They are harder to play with, but offer some unique mechanics and abilities. Gameplay of For Honor is something you can't see in any other games, and while it may seem easy on surface, it has quite a few layers and you're gonna need a lot of hours to master it. But that feeling when you finally learn to play a hero and own everyone on Battlefield is really great. And now let's move on to single player campaign. The story itself is nothing groundbreaking. In For Honor's world, a certain cataclysm made knights, samurais and vikings close to each other, and they of course started a war. Thousands of years after this event, our antagonist, Apollyon, believes that people have grown weak and wants to create an all-out war between factions. Campaign is split into 3 parts, where you play as a warden from Knights faction, raider from Vikings and Orochi from Samurais. Our main heroes don't really have much time to shine. Personally, I only liked Warden. He's only one with a snippet of personality, and when it comes to other characters, they don't stand out either. Only Apollyon has few cool cutscenes and decent dialogue. If you expect good story out of war between samurais, knights and Vikings, then you should probably go look for some fanfictions, because you will not find it here. When it comes to gameplay, single player is a very big tutorial that serves as an introduction to heroes, game modes, duels, items, and everything you could encounter in multiplayer. Other than that, it features some cool set pieces like Viking attack on Samurai Stronghold. Overall, I would say that you should play through the campaign. It can help you understand basic gameplay mechanics, and it is a lot more fun than going through normal tutorial. Plus, it has some good looking cutscenes and some epic battles that you won't encounter in multiplayer. It will take you around 6 hours to complete it, and there isn't any reason to replay it again. If you only want to play through single player and don't care about the multiplayer part, then I can't really recommend it unless you get it for like 10 bucks, because as a standalone part, it definitely cannot carry this whole game. Most of developers' attention was, is and will be geared towards multiplayer. There are a few modes that you can choose from. Classic duels, where you battle 1v1 or 2v2 against opponents, without any grunts or objectives, other than of course killing your opponent. In this mode, you can really show off your skill with heroes, and if you mostly enjoy dueling aspect of For Honor's gameplay, this mod is for you. Other than that, you also have Tribute, where you need to take control of 3 offerings, by either taking them from enemies or by defending your own. Elimination is a 4v4 game where last man standing wins. Skirmish is a battle of attrition where every kill gives you points, including AI controlled bots along with normal players. And finally, most popular mod, Dominion. Here your goal is to take control of 3 zones that give you 1 point every second as long as you control them, plus you also gain points for killing bots and players. This mod resembles big battles you can see in single-player campaign. You have tens of soldiers fighting in the middle, with heroes dueling between them, and it is all just one big organized chaos. There is quite a lot of strategy included as well. You need to cooperate with your teammates and secure zones for as long as possible and kill grunts or heroes along the way. It is a lot of fun, and I can understand why this mod is most popular. Only thing I'm kinda worried about is lack of maps. After a few hours of playing, I saw same 4 or 5 maps replaying over and over again, especially in Dominion, so some new maps would be appreciated. In order to level up faster, you can complete orders, a simple quests with objectives like play 6 matches as a Knight hero or execute 2 players in a match. You can also participate in faction wars by deploying troops you get after each match on places you can select on war map. After each season, a winner is determined, and winning factions get some cool rewards. For Honor also includes systems similar to Call of Duty's prestige ranks, where after reaching max level with a hero, you gain 1 reputation and you start again from level 1. Higher reputation means better gear at the end of match, and gaining reputation also allows you to participate in ranked matches. Overall, there is a lot of content in multiplayer to keep you occupied. For Honor is not an easy game to judge. It has its fair share of problems, like unfair matchmaking, weak single player, steep learning curve, lack of maps, or hardcore community. But on the other hand, you can see that developers still care about it by adding dedicated servers and creating new content for it every season, as well as weekly events and new free expansions. Ubisoft has been promoting it a lot as well, with constant sales or E3 coverage, and people are slowly coming back to it, along with new players that are starting right now. Plus, its gameplay is a lot of fun, graphics look good, animations of movement are stellar, and there is no other game where you can see knights, vikings and samurais battle each other. So in the end, I would recommend For Honor, mainly due to huge support it gets, and because once you get past its hard shell, you can bite straight into juicy parts that are enjoyable and worth enduring, if you have patience and time.